Welcome back to House Guest with me, Haley Lowe Fennell. I'm a psychic medium, and this is the podcast that connects you to the other side. We are sitting here today with Carter Foxworth from The Works. That was like both of those words combined into one. And I'm also sitting with Court Bechtel. She is co-hosting with me. Thank you so much, both of you, for being here.
Thank you.
Court is here because we are starting a new grief-based brand that we'll be announcing the name of soon. But we are really interested in helping the community in similar ways that The Works has helped the community as well. Carter, I like to go to your cycle class every single Wednesday. And one of the reasons I go is because you always say the right thing. You know Tara from class as well, and it's not a joke, but we always joke with each other after class. We're like, yep, she said exactly what we needed to hear. Like, that's it. I think I can go on with my day now and do a lot better. But I know that you know this, but maybe not. I wonder if anyone has said it this way to you. Do you know that you have a gift of saying the thing that needs to be said?
No, I guess I don't think of it that way. This obviously wasn't my background. And so teaching is now something that I kind of feel I more love to connect people and create an experience. But I definitely don't walk around saying I have a gift. I don't feel like I was given this gift.
Yeah, maybe it just comes naturally.
But thank you.
Yeah. And just for anyone that is listening to the podcast that isn't familiar with what it is that you do and where you work, will you tell everyone?
Yes. Yeah. So I work at the Works Sweat Studio. I helped develop that brand and the brand experience and do all of the marketing. And that is a local sweat studio in Charleston. We also have a studio, the Works Renew. So I work for those studios. And then I am the co-founder of the Works Cycle, which is our spinoff, a cycle studio. Everything under the Works umbrella is soulful fitness, based on really sharing our stories and connecting with other people. So anything that I'm sharing that maybe it seems like I have a gift that is resonating with other people in the room, I'm really just sharing things that I really need to hear too at that time. And it seems to land because we're all kind of going through the same things in a different way. So I do marketing. I do the business side. I manage the employees. And I do the brand partnerships events. And then I also do teach cycle classes. I learned how to teach cycle once I opened the studio because I felt it was kind of strange if I didn't know what the instructors were doing, or I couldn't relate to them or speak to them if I was owning this cycle studio but didn't teach cycles. So I learned how to teach cycle and I ended up really loving it. And I do love creating the experience and those 45 minutes in those rooms. It's rhythm-based cycling. There are no metrics. It's dark. There's lights. It's all based to the music. And it's just a really fun time. But what I always say is you can ride a wave of emotions in the classes. So you can be up, down, happy, sad, reflective, whatever. But all in all, I hope people always leave. And I always leave feeling really empowered and confident after.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's
at least for the 8 hours of the day.
Yeah.
And then I got to go again the next morning.
What made you start cycling? What was the need? Obviously the sweat studio we all love. And we were talking earlier about it, but what made you, find the passion for the cycling?
So when I was living in New York, I went to the College of Charleston. And then when I graduated, I actually went right away. I think it was I moved 2 days later and started work right away. I did PR and marketing and celebrity at Stuart Weitzman. And so I was on their global marketing team. Anyways, while I was in New York, I found a love for spin. Yeah. I had a really bad breakup in college and it kind of just continued to follow me everywhere. And it was a toxic relationship that wouldn't go away. And I think from that stemmed a really bad period in my life. I wasn't very nice to myself. I wasn't nice to the people that I love. I wasn't, on the outside, it looked like everything was great, but inside it was a total mess. And so I had this really bad episode with my sister where I was really mean to her. And my mom was like, okay, that's it. We got to figure out what's going on. So I did cognitive behavioral therapy. I had therapy. I did everything you could do, but none of it worked. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to start exercising. I'd exercised off and on in my life, but I became really into boutique fitness and particularly spin. And so I would go to spin classes at SoulCycle in New York. It's no secret. And I didn't really love it, but I always felt better when I left. And so I started committing to doing that, and I would do it like a few times a week. And then I got really obsessed with it. And then I got obsessed with boutique fitness. I spent a lot of time in LA as well because I did all of the VIP placements for Stuart Weitzman. And so I spent a lot of time there for award shows or what have you. And I would just go to different studios. And when I moved back to Charleston, I was like, oh, we do not have good boutique fitness studios there. But I loved Sarah's class. She was leaving. I helped her develop the brand. And then from there, we were thinking about expanding on the Work Sweat Studio into other cities. And COVID hit. And so we were sitting on her porch and we were like just talking about other things we could do. And that's kind of where the cycle came about, the work cycle.
Oh, you've told this story before in class where the first cycle class you took, you actually didn't like.
Yes, I hated it. I was like,
At the works?
It was at Soul Cycle. I hated the class. The instructor was so mean. Like she got mad at me for sitting in the front row because I didn't know what I was doing. I just booked myself in the front row. But I don't know, after something like made me go back to it. So I obviously liked something about it, but I always remind people in class, if like this first class is probably not going to be the experience that your 10th class is going to be, it's coming back for the second class that I think is the hardest part.
Oh my God, I love this full circle. Cause I also lived in New York and did Soul Cycle. I worked for Victoria's Secret Sports. So I was the product developer for that category. So I would have to wear test our product. Now our fit model is Allie Love. That is like a huge instructor. She was then. So it was really fun because, we would try to take classes in her classes and things like that. But sometimes I would be in those classes and have on like a pair of pants that was like not
working.
You're like, this one.
We tried like leather at one time. And I remember being like, I am like in my own sweat. Like this is the worst experience of my life. So it's like, I remember too, those classes where when you're in New York too, you're kind of used to getting yelled at by like a stranger. So you're kind of like, you can kind of just like, whatever.
Totally.
But how do you can't do that in Charleston. Like that doesn't really work. So like,
no, it is definitely like a different experience. I mean, I think fitness in general, I think there are some fitness studios, and this isn't wrong. We just don't do this. Like they put their instructors on a really big pedestal and the instructors kind of feel like they're these celebrity, like people.
Like welcome to class.
Yes. And I really got that vibe. I remember just being like, will I ever really know this instructor? So we want to all feel like we're one.
Yeah.
And it's
You
nothing
guys
to
do a
knock
really
Soul
good
Cycle.
job.
Clearly they're doing great.
You
Sure.
do.
But you guys do a really good job at making people feel seen, heard, and known. I mean, it's like
it's authentic and it's more fun when like, the people. Like this morning in my 8 a.m. class in Mount Pleasant, every Tuesday, it's pretty much the same 40 people. And it's a lot of people, like a lot of groups of friends or some new people who've become friends from it. But before class, it was like 8:02 and I was like, oh, we got to get started. Everyone was just having like happy hour, just chatting and having the best time. And it's like, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Real connection.
Because you're like, we're coming hot off a spring break in Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, Mount Pleasant moms were ready to go.
I love that part of the story though, where especially when you say like, but your 10th class is going to feel a lot different. I think that there's something to be said with career in general and we were talking about this with Sarah right before, she was just on, she'll be a few episodes before yours. We're talking about focus and like how, focus has changed throughout the generations. But I think that cycle is one of those things that your first class might not be what you think it's going to be, but if you stay in it, it's going to get better. But I'm really more curious about you career-wise, because you are now full on doing something where the first time you hated it.
Totally.
Yeah.
And like kind of how I got there or.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I moved back to Charleston, I loved my job at Stuart Weitzman. I started as the PR assistant. Then I don't know, what are you after the assistant? I've been out of the corporate world too long.
Coordinator.
A coordinator. Then I was the manager, whatever. And I was climbing up. I loved it. I could have been there a long time. But I met my husband while I was living in New York, and he's from Charleston and he lived in Charleston at the time. So we were doing long distance. I had just bought an apartment in New York. Oh, my mom was like, oh, and then she meets him and this is all going to be. And then it was like everything. I was set to stay in New York and then I met him. So I knew I was going to move back. But when I moved back, I didn't know what I was going to do. I mean, Charleston, even when I moved back, I guess it was like 8 or 10 years ago. I don't know. However, somewhere around there. it was so different than it is now. But back then I was like, oh, it's so different than it was, whatever. But there weren't that many opportunities. I remember emailing anywhere here that maybe had an opportunity for a job, and there was like nothing that was landing. So I just started consulting, and I remember feeling really lost because I was used to having like an important job that was paying me very well and like having purpose every day. And I was just trying to consult for brands here. And I remember being like, how is this ever going to all make sense? And I was talking to my mom, and she was like, you've always wanted to open a fitness studio. Maybe you should open a studio there. Like, there's nothing in Mount Pleasant. And I was like, oh, I don't know how, I don't know really anything about that, whatever. But I was like, I want to one day or something. And then, a year or two later, Sarah was leaving her current studio and was opening up the works. And I was kind of asking her like, well, who's going to do this? How are you going to do that? All these things that I knew she needed someone for. And like, she knew how to run a fitness studio. She ran a yoga studio for 18 years prior. So it kind of all just fell into place, but I never knew it would go that way. You just kind of have to be patient and like trust it. I mean, everyone says it all the time. It's so cliche, but it is true. Like, if you just keep trucking along, it's all gonna land eventually.
You also talk about this in class a lot, and I feel like it kind of goes off of the story that you just told us about perseverance. It's like you came here today and to just keep going. And like, the funny thing about cycle is you choose how hard it is.
Exactly. I know. I mean, me too.
And the front row story is a little bit funny to me because I always choose the front row. There's a psychology behind it though. Like, if you put yourself in, this is very much quote unquote, because I am not a leader in cycle by any means, but if you put yourself in a leadership,
she is.
If you put yourself in a leadership position, you perform better.
Of course.
If you put yourself in the front, it's like there's actual science around it.
I've never
So
sat
if you're
in the front
struggling now, I do sit in the back row at the Sweat Studios. Don't tell Sarah that.
No, I always say the people that can ride the class full out and do everything, but they're in the back row, I'm like, you're really doing it. Because that's really hard.
It's harder. It's harder.
It's harder.
It's easier in the front. So if you're on like a really hard hike, actually putting yourself in front to be like, everybody follow me, you just do better.
That's so
interesting. I feel as though that's something that just that perseverance part of that. Are there? I don't even know what my question was around that, but does that make sense to you?
Yeah, 100%.
And then you tell people in class all the time, like, to just keep going or to make it like we're the only ones that know if it's hard.
Right, of course. Yeah. And I mean, from a business standpoint, I see this so much with we employ so many 19 to 25-year-olds. And as everyone in this room knows, that's a really confusing time, like career-wise in your life. And I think, persevering through that and like when I moved back here, I was 27. I was, things were starting to get better, but you don't know what is going to happen. But if you just keep working hard, it's going to fall into place. But if you expect to be handed it all, or you don't want to put the work in or whatever, it's not going to fall into place either. So I think like perseverance is really important because it's really hard work to get to a place that you want to be. And now I'm working so hard to get to where I want to be next too. It never stops, just shifts a little bit. Yeah.
I know why I was thinking about that because in my mind, cycle, I started off at the Sweat Studio and then my friend was like, you should try cycle. And I was like, no, never. Like, I don't know how to do that. That's too hard. But I did it anyway.
Which is a common misconception.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And she actually was like, if you can do this, you can do that. And so I went in and tried it. And I for sure was in the back row for a while. And then was like, if I want to get better at this, I got to put myself in the front row.
I know. We actually had a chat about this in our staff meeting yesterday because we have so many people at the yoga studio that are scared to try cycle. And we have so many people at cycle studio that are scared to try yoga. And it's like, since, Sarah, when we first were figuring out campaigns around the business, she was like, if people can just get in the room, and that's where get in the room came. And it still goes. I'm like, if they can just get in, one time, maybe two times and really feel what it is, because it's more of like a feeling than a,
I don't know. For sure.
It's hard to explain.
Yourself in the room. Yeah.
And if you don't like it, it's not for you. You don't come back,
Yeah.
I love the just on that because that's the psychology of Nike's Just Do It is the just. It's actually all about that word. it's kind of like if you can just do anything, like just get in the room,
Right.
it's so real.
Totally.
For me, like the 40-year-old clerb that used to live in New York, I love spin because it's like the only time now that you can have like fun music besides your car. Do you know what I mean? Like
No.
it's the only thing. So I always think about that with
The
like,
40-year-old moms in Mount Pleasant go wild at the fun music.
You're like, it's going
It's a
back.
time.
Yeah, when you're not listening to the music your kids picked out.
Totally.
Yes. Like I love Taylor Swift, but I want to hear, something else that is just like old party music from
Yeah, exactly.
that time. So who's doing that? Like who's leading the music? Because that's what I always think about in the class.
Like
I'm
what the
who's making
instructors,
this mix?
the instructors,
They do.
Yeah.
and they spend hours.
Yeah.
We
Oh my God.
spend hours.
Yeah.
Like
What's
finding the
your-
music. You can find music on YouTube or SoundCloud. You can find different remixes. Then you have to like download them into your computer and then put them on your Spotify. So it'll.
Oh my God,
it's
how
like
are you tell us about that process. Like how
I've
in
gotten
the world?
like quick at it.
Yeah.
I've gotten better at it, but I'll listen to music in my car to try to find new music, and I don't know, take out an hour a week or something.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could probably put more time, but it is a full-time thing. Like the playlists are a big thing.
Yeah,
I
I'm
found
guilty of
myself-
staying back.
I found myself thinking like, oh, I could ride to this.
Yeah,
Like, that's
right.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Send it to
You've
me.
been putting more. I will. Well, I'm actually so bad at music. I will listen to it and I'll have zero clue who sang it,
Right,
played it,
but you
anything.
know it.
But I know it. Yeah. But you've started to play a little more country in your.
It's summer, you know.
playlist
It's getting
sometimes, which I love.
summery in town.
Yeah.
So I feel the country's coming out a little bit.
Oh, I love
Just
that.
a little bit.
So what are you excited about right now for like you were saying you've been in how many years is it currently
With the works.
with Cycle?
And with Cycle. So we opened the Cycle studio in 2020 and we opened the Sweat studio in we started like in Sarah's driveway in 2018.
Wow.
So however many years that
Like
is.
5 to 7 years in, like what's
Yeah.
you're pregnant, can we say that? Like,
Yeah, I'm pregnant.
Okay, so you're having your second baby.
Having my second baby.
You're 5 to 7 years into this.
Yes. I right now, like, I think it's been so awesome to watch. And I actually just had a call with someone who wants to open a cycle studio in Charlotte, and she was looking for some advice. And then from that call, I was like, I really want to help. Like, I love building the back end of the business and all of our processes and our systems. And it's been so cool to watch that actually work. Like the business, they're all functioning and somehow it's all happening day to day because there are so many people involved, but it used to just be Sarah and I. And so it's so cool now to watch what you can do when you have a big team. Yeah. And so now I'm like, how can we keep expanding on this team, growing this team? What can we offer more opportunities so they can grow as well? I think that is part of something of the business that I'm really into right now. And just like managing all of that, while it can be hard, I do really find a lot of fulfillment in that. But for us right now, we have some fun things coming up this summer, and then I'm kind of cruising into my maternity month off, I guess. I'll probably take a month off.
Oh, yay.
Is that hard for you?
It's not, it's like, it's a little bit hard because I do have my hand in everything. But also last time I remember I was so nervous about it and I didn't even have as much help then. And everything was fine. So now I'm like, okay, if one email goes out and something's wrong, or if there's a post that's made that I didn't like write the perfect caption for,
Right.
or whatever, it's really not that big of a deal. I've gotten a lot more relaxed.
Good.
Yeah.
Like not in a way where I don't care, but just in like a healthier way.
And like a little more comfortable or like confident.
Like everything's fine. I think I do struggle with like, I always feel I need to be everywhere for everyone. And so I'm trying to be better about that, but we'll see.
Letting people show up for you instead.
Yeah.
when
I
the
just
baby
gave up a
comes.
class today. I'm not teaching Thursdays anymore. That's step one.
Step one. That's a great step. I like that.
And you feel good about it? Or you?
I feel good about it.
Good.
Because Ella's teaching it. She wants it. It'll be great for her. I need a day just in the office, like little things like that. But yeah, I do feel it's hard for me to like take things off my plate for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But babies help you do that for sure.
And then this is baby number 2, a well-anticipated baby, right?
Yes.
Will you tell us a little bit, if you're comfortable, like your
Yes.
journey to getting here?
Of course. So with it basically took me, like in short, it took me 2 years to get pregnant with both of my children, or this child in my belly. I don't know if it's a boy or girl. And it took me 2 years to get pregnant with my son. And so the first time it I was like, why am I not getting pregnant? I didn't really even know how to get pregnant. Like I didn't know there was so much, that goes into getting pregnant. And so once I realized that I wasn't getting pregnant, I was like, okay, there's something going on. So I went to the doctor, and the doctors, they kind of send you now just to the fertility clinic, because frankly, I don't think they really have time to like dive into anything else. And that's just their protocol, which is great. I love my doctor. So I went to the fertility clinic, and they told me that I basically had like 0% chance of getting pregnant. I had all the blood work done, everything done prior to that. And then everything looked normal, and they were like, okay, so we'll check, what is it when they like put the dye in your fallopian tube, make sure they're not closed or whatever.
Yeah.
So they did that process. Everything looked fine. But for some reason they were like, it's just unexplained infertility. You really don't have a chance of getting pregnant unless you do IVF. And I remember leaving that appointment, and I was going to, my husband's family has a house in Pawleys, and I was going to Pawleys that day, and I was driving there like, what the hell, how am I here? And something just didn't feel right about it. I was like, that just doesn't feel right. If you can't give me a reason why, why am I about to like hand over $15,000 to like make this baby at the IVF clinic? Like I just knew in my gut there was more answers. So I started doing a lot of acupuncture with a fertility specialist, Audrey. I've talked about her on here a ton. And so anyone who's interested in her, if you reach out to me, I'll send you her info. But I started doing acupuncture every week, and I took all these crazy Chinese herbs from Chinatown in New York that she like has them mix up for you. And I just kept hope and like waiting and waiting. And eventually I did get pregnant with my son without the IVF or without the IUI. And there's nothing against that. I just had no reason to do that. Right. So I knew my body could do it. That was just the path that I wanted to take. I'd rather wait 2 years than not, I guess. And then when I went to get pregnant with this child that I'm pregnant with, the same thing happened. I wasn't getting pregnant, so I was trying all my old practices, but those weren't working. And then I eventually got pregnant, and then I had a miscarriage. I actually got pregnant. I would, now, honestly, now I'm like, it feels like such a blip. I don't even feel sad, but it's like once it's over, I would have had a baby right now, actually, which is
that's wild. Yeah,
stressful because I'm out of my house right now, and it just feels it's not the timing wasn't right. But I was pregnant that time with 3 children, which also doesn't feel right.
Oh my goodness.
And then I know. And then one, like I lost one, and then I lost another, and then the other one was, and then I had to have a DNC or whatever. So that happened, and I was like so defeated, and I was like, oh my gosh, it just took me 2 years to get pregnant with this baby. Are these babies?
And then you can get in your head about like the gap of like so many women talk about this, but like now they're going to be 3 years apart. Yeah. I wanted 2.
Totally.
And it's all this pressure that we don't need to put on ourselves.
No, like your plans that you make that obviously are never as expected, but it always ends up better.
Yeah.
And then I got pregnant, I guess 2 months after that August, September, October, 2 months after I got pregnant right around my son's 2nd birthday. Now with this child. So the infertility, it was like such a 5 years of my life that was just exhausting. Like so many ovulation strips, so many apps, so many things, it's like, it's so tiring, like thinking about everything. But now I was just talking to a friend, struggling a little bit with unexplained infertility as well yesterday. And it's like, it's such a blip to me now. Like I don't even feel like anything about it, like I feel like it's so in the past.
I have a question for you about that because I obviously just came out of infertility. I was the director of product development for Natalist. So you might have used the ovulation.
I do. Yes. No, I still use all the vitamins.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I
forgot that was you. Yes. Okay.
So, this is a big thing that Haley and I are talking about. It's like infertility is on such a rise. And like you said, I mean, my sister-in-law had unexplained infertility. I wish there could be another name for it because it's so defeating just to be like,
totally.
Hearing that, saying that is so hard. But like when you were going through that, was there anything that was helpful for you? Did friends show up in a way? Did working at the studio, did you have anything that you want to share to the listener about what helped or what you would do?
Help, anything.
I think I would like find nuggets of like hope and like hold on to those like stories for a little while, or there's so many stories of people with infertility or like people with loss and then having their baby. There's so much information out there. There's so many podcasts. There's so many inspiring things on Instagram. Like Instagram can be a trap, but also there's so many infertility stories that can be inspiring. So I would talk to other women who had gone. I didn't find that many women with unexplained infertility that I like knew, but I know so many women that went through IVF and other things, and IUI. But yeah, I would just like keep holding out hope every month. And then like, it would be like that month you'd be like, oh, this wasn't the month. And then you'd have to like find the hope to get through the next month. And just every month, like, I don't know, taking things day by day.
Yeah.
But I mean, yes, sometimes it was overwhelming. Sometimes I would like get my period and cry and drink. And then I would give myself a day and then be like, okay, move on. Next month we try,
Yeah.
So I think just holding out hope and like the faith and trusting.
Yeah. That's great advice.
It was easier the second go round, obviously. The first time I was like, will I ever have a baby?
Will I ever? Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a way that friends could help you during that time? Like, did you have any examples of that?
I mean, I think talking to friends and people in the community, like it's so much what we do at the studio, so that you feel less alone. But I do think a lot of it is like mentally, you kind of have to help yourself. Like nothing anyone can say is going to make you feel better in that moment, unfortunately.
Yeah. And moving your body is somehow like
So cathartic, yeah.
magic of the day when you're in it.
Yeah, 100%.
And I love hearing other people's success stories
Yeah.
too. There's, you were actually the first person that I've ever heard that was pregnant with triplets and then had disappearing twin syndrome. I told Lindsay this because you were on the podcast.
Yes.
On Sarah's podcast, Are You For Real? Which anyone can go check that out too. I was pregnant with triplets as well, but I had my son out of it. So I had two.
Crazy.
That just disappeared. Like nothing came of it.
So
but
bizarre.
it was like a very hard time for me because my husband, we found out like very, very early on in the pregnancy. And my husband his reaction was relief, to be honest. He was like, oh my gosh, like, okay, like it's just one. And my reaction was quite different. And I think that sometimes when you hear other people's stories, it just makes the biggest difference.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
okay, like it's just not just me.
No.
Yeah.
I remember when I went to have the DNC, so when I had my son, his name is Foxy. For some reason, after like all of the unexplained infertility stuff, I was like, okay, I'm going to put all my energy towards this birth and I'm going to have an unmedicated birth at the hospital and blah, blah, blah. So I labored without the epidural, which isn't like good or bad. I think I was just like very into trusting my body.
Yeah. It's just what you want.
It was just like what I wanted to focus on at that time. And I spent so much time preparing for it. And then I pushed for 6 hours and my son didn't descend like as far as he needed to. And I ended up having a C-section. And so, which is all fine, at the end of the day, I still got the unmedicated. I got both. And the anesthesiologist, I remember being wheeled in there and I was like, obviously very out of it after 16 hours of like unmedicated labor. And he was just telling me that it's going to be okay. And like, he knew my husband from something in Charleston. And I just remember him being really, really kind. And then when I went to have my DNC, he was the same anesthesiologist that day. And he was like, it's going to be okay. And so I think like all along I know he's so sweet. I'm like, you better, maybe he'll be this time if I have a C-section. We'll see. God knows. We don't know what'll happen. But it's just like finding the little pieces of hope along the way, or like the reminders that like, it's going to be okay.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And just hanging on to that. I mean, sometimes it really is as simple as that. But if anyone's listening and they're currently going through a really hard time or a miscarriage or infertility, we'd love for you guys to email us and let us know some ways that you guys have found were really, really helpful. And we'll air them on the podcast if you guys feel comfortable.
Love that.
Yeah.
I also love that you did acupuncture because I did too. And my son is 6, so this is like 7 years of doing acupuncture.
Yeah.
I still do it.
I still do too.
Yeah.
I've missed 3 weeks and I feel bad.
It's like, I always tell my husband it's my true addiction is to go
Really?
to acupuncture
Yeah.
because I kind of get into this meditative state.
I get to nap
Yeah.
for an hour.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
And so peaceful and wonderful, and who knows where you go.
Right. Totally.
So you're still doing it with this pregnancy
Yes, I'm still doing it with this pregnancy
and still with the same.
every week. Yeah, with Audrey.
Shout out to Audrey.
Shout out to Audrey.
Shout out to Audrey. I need to go to her, apparently.
It's in West Ashley. I'll drive for her.
That's amazing.
every week.
Drive for her. That's such a Charleston thing to say.
It's not even that
love
far.
it.
It's just like,
no, but it's
Cross a
like,
bridge for her.
You have to cross a bridge.
I cross like 50 bridges a day, but still,
Yeah.
you know,
I
yeah,
feel the
she's-
same way. There's certain things where I'm like, will I go across
Will
that
I go
bridge?
there for that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hit 526 today.
It wasn't a problem until
Probably
like
not.
Charleston has changed so much with traffic. But anyways, she's amazing.
So you're downtown and in Mount Pleasant then. So when you say you're going,
Yes. So our office is downtown. But we also have an office at the Cycle Studio in Mount Pleasant, or we can work out of Renew, but we're also like always bopping all over. I do try to be downtown like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at the office. But I mean, it's a Tuesday right now and I'm not there. So, you know, it's always different every week.
Okay, so with work and with pregnancy, is there anything right now that really helps you feel grounded beyond movement?
Yeah.
That's probably a hard question because the answer is probably movement.
No, well, no, I mean, yes, I guess I don't even feel that grounded right now, to be
Yeah,
honest.
that's okay.
I feel like a little chaotic. And all good things, obviously, but I do feel things are a little chaotic. So I am like, what can I do now to ground me? Like
Yeah.
we facilitate hopefully a grounding experience for so many people in Charleston. And I'm kind of like, what is my grounding experience? But I do feel grounded when I put my phone down, honestly, and like go to the beach with my son or like just
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like the phone is really gives me a lot of anxiety. So if I want to feel super grounded, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bad.
we talked about it with Sarah too. It's funny. It's like,
Yeah,
it is
it's
a reoccurring theme today.
Yeah. I feel like things tend to come up like that in cycles of like in life in general. And I know that's probably something that people hear on and off or feel on and off is like,
Yeah.
gosh, I just need to put down my phone.
It's hard to do though.
Yeah,
It
be
is.
present.
It's hard to do. It's hard to do, especially as business owners, because it's a part of the reality of owning a business right
Yeah.
now. It's like you have to be on it to promote whatever it is that you're doing.
Or someone needs something.
But then there's also these great things where you get to hear other people's stories, and sometimes it can truly be uplifting. There's a trick. Oh my gosh, this is borrowed from Victoria Winter. I am positive.
I love her.
You guys go follow her, and
All three of us are like, our love, Victoria. Yes.
our
tell
love
us.
She's
for
amazing.
Victoria. And you'll have to remind me what her business is called. It just
Inventor Ease.
Inventor Ease. You guys go follow Inventor Ease. Okay, but if you go onto your Instagram and it's at the top, you can click down to following. Like you click Instagram, the logo, and it brings you to just all the people that you follow.
Yes.
So that
she
you're
does.
not.
That's her thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
To
so
make
it's
sure
like
you're following
this
who you
pro tip so that you're not being sponsored anything.
Right.
Shaming your body, whatever it
Whatever it
is, your
is.
age, like
Yes.
whatever
That's
it
cool.
is. And so you can go to that and then you get like that healthy dose of like, oh my gosh, I love that my friend just went to the beach with her kids.
Yeah, or like
Yes.
connection.
It's
Yeah.
who you want to
Yeah.
be following.
Yeah. Yeah, the phone. So putting the phone down, if I can do that and like spend, I don't know, time doing something else, I just have
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
I have a question for you about, so for the listener that is maybe likely pregnant or trying and things like that, I've been going to Renew. We were talking about it earlier. Love it because it's like a little bit slower and things. But I've seen a lot of pregnant women
people.
in Renew. And is there anything to that? And then we were also talking about the breathwork class. I
Yes.
haven't taken it, but
That's
maybe three
amazing.
friends have been like, you absolutely have to go. So
I was on a kick with that and I need to get back on that kick. You know what? It's funny that you say like movement because I really haven't been moving for myself for
Right.
about 3 weeks. I've been teaching my classes, so I feel I can check off that workout that I'm still like at least being active for like my health and the health of my baby. But I haven't been I need to get back into it. So this is a good reminder of Renew. A lot of pregnant women are advised not to take heated classes from their doctor.
Okay.
It depends on the person, your comfort level. Like I practice in the hot room the whole time, but it just depends on the person. So I think that it also just is really hot when you're pregnant. Like
Yeah,
I'm like,
extra.
I can't do it. It's so hot.
It's a layer
so I
deeper.
think that Renew, that's why you see a lot of people in that studio.
I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. And
Yes.
it's just like a little bit calmer, which maybe is better when you're pregnant. But no, those classes are very grounding.
Okay. And then what is this? Sarah was telling us a little bit, but if you can tell us more about the breathwork class, because apparently like your eyes are covered and things in this.
Yeah, your eyes are covered. I mean, she can probably speak to it better than me, but I can tell you from experience, not from being like like I don't really know what all is going on, but I feel when I take that class, I feel like I don't know what just happened. Like, I don't know if I'm awake or asleep. I don't know what happened. And then when it's over, I just feel like really good. It's weird.
And it's Taylor Cornegie.
It's Taylor. Yes. She's amazing.
She's amazing. She's been on the podcast before. People can
Yeah.
flip back and listen to her episode. If I knew numbers off the top of my head, I'd let you know.
You don't know the numbers of all your
No, I
episodes?
don't. You would think I would know because I'm psychic, but I don't.
Right.
But
Yeah, she's
she's
amazing.
wonderful. Yeah. And I've never taken that class either, but I'd love to.
It's an intimidating
Yes, I would love to.
experience, I feel like, if you're like, what? I'm just going to go breathe. But like, everyone in there is doing it. So it's not it feels maybe a little weird, but you kind of just have to let go of that. It's on the schedule a few times if you can make it work for one. It's a nice Sunday activity, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what everyone's taking it like Saturday or Sunday. It's like a weekend
Yeah.
thing, and then saying how
there's
it like completely resets the weekend.
Yeah.
And it's so great. So I was wondering if you're doing that or if you like recommend
Oh,
that.
I need
for
to get
the-
back to that. I was doing that when I was trying to get pregnant and trying to like focus more on my breath. I need to get back into it.
Yes.
Listen, we don't always practice everything we preach.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with y'all.
Yeah.
That's what we need to hear.
Yeah. I'll hear things in readings sometimes, and I'm like, that's so great that I can say that to somebody else.
Right.
Like, why am I not taking that for
Yeah.
myself?
It's just a reality.
Yeah. But a nice reminder. to at
Totally.
least try.
Totally.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Carter.
Thank
I really appreciate it. Do you
you.
have any other questions, Court?
I have one more because I
Okay.
told you you were talking about your mom a lot. And I thought that was so beautiful how she's kind of like been guiding you.
Yeah.
And do you feel like that's happening now that you're a mother, or like, are you experiencing that in the
Yes.
business?
No,
Like,
my mom is a business owner as well. She owns
great.
Shoes on King, which is on King Street, a shoe store, and she owns one in Augusta called Shoes at Surrey, where we're from. It's in a shopping center called Surrey Center, and she opened the businesses when my sister went to boarding school, my brother and I were in college, and I think she just, I don't know, I guess she wanted something to do, so she opened the businesses, and I think it's really admirable because she obviously had to learn a bit about opening a small business, just like I had to do. Like, I didn't know anything about opening small business. And so I really admire that in her. And as a mother, of course, like once you have a child, you know that you rely so much on your mom.
Yeah.
So she's here a good bit helping me all the time with all the things.
That's really sweet.
And she's an avid work cycle girl. Woman.
Really? That's amazing.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm coming in there for the music. I want to hear your playlist.
Yeah, you
so-
got to come. Do you live downtown or Mount Pleasant?
I'm in
or?
Mount Pleasant.
Okay.
And I'm
You need to come on Tuesdays
we're
at
gonna
8.
we're gonna come together for that, and then
Yeah.
we're gonna come to this.
Because are you going to
Breathwork
turn
class.
into a Mount Pleasant girl?
Oh, you
or-
guys, I'm about to turn. I mean, it'll be like a year-ish.
Okay, you can cross the bridge though.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
fine.
I'll cross the bridge. I know. I will. I'll go to Mount Pleasant. I do have one more question for you.
Yeah.
Do you ever have an experience, or do you have anything that you can speak on, a moment, a time, where you really felt like this is why I do what I do?
Yes, I think there's, those certain classes or those certain moments with employees or certain testimonials where you kind of see what you're doing through the lens of someone else. Because I think when you're doing whatever it is that you do, whether you work for a company or a small business owner, or you're a mom or your dad or whatever, or a podcast producer, you don't recognize like all that you're doing. And sometimes you have to see it through the lens of someone else. So anytime someone shares their experience with me, or I read reviews, or I connect with someone after a class who was going through the same thing, I'm like, okay, this is why I do what I do, because a lot of the day to day, it's like, why the hell do I do what I do? Like, this is this worth it? But then when you look at it from a bird's eye view, I think it all makes a lot more sense.
I love that you said that, because as like anyone listening, we all think like, should I tell the owner or tell that person that?
Yeah.
You should.
And you
Do
should,
it.
because
Yeah.
that is so true. It's like, that's what keeps you going.
Yes.
Then that helps 50 people this week.
Totally.
And it's such a circle.
Even negative feedback
Yeah.
can be really helpful as an owner as well. Like, that's the only way for us to grow and shift. And with employees, I'm always like, please tell me anything that you think, I could be doing better as a leader or whatever. I think it just really helps shape everything. So
I love
those
that.
are the moments where I definitely feel like this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Or when we have like 60 people on our payroll, I'm like, this is why I'm doing what we're doing. These 60 people wouldn't have job. I mean, they would have jobs maybe elsewhere, but like, we're creating a space for that. This morning before my class, 2 of the girls who were working the front desk. They're about to graduate and they were like so sad. They were going to cry because they're like, I love this job so much. And I'm like, wow, to be in college and like have a job that you love. I'm like, that made me really proud. So moments like that.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And how that's truly shaping their future. I wish I had a job like that when I was in college.
Same.
Yeah.
And I'd really try to like work with them when I do get time with them. I don't get to see them all because I'm not there every hour, every day, but to help them in any way that I can, because it is a confusing time in life for sure.
Yeah. But even I think there's, what is there, like 40 bikes in the downtown studio?
And Mount Pleasant.
Those 40 people that show up for that class are changed after that 45 minutes. I mean, it's really hard to walk in that room sometimes, but whenever you walk out, you'll never regret it because you're a different person.
I know.
So
it is.
you leave
I mean,
people
even us
better.
as instructors, like this morning, I was like, ugh. My son was in my room a bunch of times last night and was like having a hard time going back to his and screaming. And I have like side body pain down my left side that I don't know what's going on. I was just like, I woke up like, I don't know if I can teach today. And there was 2 instructors in my class. I'm like, maybe I'll have one of them teach. And then I was like, just teach. And then after a song, even like for me as an instructor, you know, I instantly felt better too. So it just goes to show that we're all doing it together.
Yeah.
So if you feel like you can't do it, you're not alone.
Yeah. And to get to do that in like a room of people, like
Yes.
we're all leaving
Yeah, I can't do it alone.
better than we came in.
Totally.
Yeah. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah. Thank
And you really
guys.
do have like such a gift and such a purpose in that. And it's so fun to see you do it.
Well, thank you.
I think it inspires so many more people out there than you even realize.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Carter.
Yeah, thank you.
Will you tell everyone where they can follow the works, how they can find you and take a class with you?
Yes, you can follow us at The Works CHS or The Works Renew, or for me, The Works Cycle on Instagram. Those are also our websites. And if you want to take a class, if you email us at info@theworkscycle and just say you heard this podcast episode, we'll give you a free class.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I will say, recently the Works lost someone very, very close to you guys. And one of the ways that I felt, I didn't know the family, but one of the ways that I felt like I could show up was to keep taking the classes, even though you guys weren't going to be teaching for a little bit.
Thank
and
you.
I'm just saying that to like anyone that's looking to support someone from afar, keep supporting the community that they're a part of.
Yeah, that's
So taking classes from other instructors, I took a class with Caroline and she was top notch.
Amazing.
Loved her. Yeah.
it's really hard for people to realize that. Like, yeah, of course, I love you coming to my classes, but like, I'd really love for you to try all these amazing people that we have trusted to hire and train and put so much energy into. Like, I would never put someone on our team or on our schedule that I didn't believe in wholeheartedly or that whose class I wouldn't want to take. So thank you for saying that as I will be leaving for maternity leave.
Yes.
And then message Carter and tell her how much you love her.
Exactly.
And everyone can message me at Cardi Wheels and tell me how amazing. I'm just kidding.
Yes.
The new instructor is.
Yeah, exactly. Because you want to hear
I do
it
love
as a
hearing
business
when
owner.
people like
You
share
do.
that they love
Yeah.
instructors. Yeah, they're proud to tell me, and I love that.
Yeah. And then you guys can also use the codes The Works or The Works Gift for 15% off a reading with me. And you can follow me at Haley Low Fennel. You can follow Court at Court Bechtel, which is Bechdtel. Did I get it right? Yes.
Yep. Impossible.
And she is also the owner of Pack Supply. You can follow them on Instagram at Pax-Supply. Is there anything else that you want to plug?
No.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Carter.
Thank you.